Kyrsten Sinema does not want to change the filibuster, it appears. And Joe Biden apparently just figured this out. Here she is expressing her rights for the voting rights, rights bills. But it is less important that we stop the disenfranchisement of voters, and more important that we uphold a tradition that has been changed 3 times in the past 5 or 6 years at least,
including something that she just proposed a few weeks ago about the debt ceiling, I believe.
Wait, yeah, exactly. Add one more of those. It's been changed only 1 time in the past 3 months. Here it is.
Well, it wasn't successful, I think, but
no, they did it.
Oh, they did it. Sorry. Oh, never mind.
Eliminating the 60 vote threshold on a party line with the thinnest of possible majorities to pass these bills that I support will not guarantee that we prevent demagogues from winning office. Indeed, some who undermine the principles of democracy have already been elected. Rather, eliminating the 60 vote threshold will simply guarantee that we lose a critical tool that we need to safeguard our democracy from threats in the years to come.
Shh, I like this part.
It is clear that the 2 party strategies are not working, not for either side, and especially not for the country.
Oh, squeeze out a tear.
Very dramatic. You know what? I would say I would rate that as like a classic audition for an acting class freshman year.
Yes.
Comes in. This is the monologue I'm reading for this class. Not well done. I did not buy the fact that her heart was broken.
Does it shock
about
you
all
to
the
learn
failures.
that she has a theater background?
It does, only insofar as I would hope that it wouldn't be terribly extensive.
I'm a former theater kid, but that is so on the money. Just the theater kid
energy,
energy coming out of there. This is my time, and yeah, she's trying to cry. She couldn't. She didn't go full Rittenhouse with it, but not for want of trying.
Crack enough at the right times.
Indeed, one already has.
Now, you want to see a good performance by Kyrsten Sinema? Here's a performance she gave back in 2010, much more convincing.
So what does that mean? Well, in the Senate, we no longer have 60 votes. Some would argue that we never had 60 because one of those was Joseph Lieberman. But that's whatever. Yeah, and Nelson too, but really Lieberman. So now there's, I think as the president so eloquently said on Wednesday, there's none of this pressure, this false pressure to get to 60. So what that means is that the Democrats can stop kowtowing to Joe Lieberman and instead seek other avenues to move forward with health reform. And so it's likely that the Senate will move forward with a process called reconciliation, which takes only 51 votes. And by the way, is not unusual. You may recall that before the Democrats took the Senate in 2008, that the Republicans controlled the Senate for quite some time. In fact, since around 1994. They never had 60 votes, and they managed to do a lot of really bad things during that time. So the reconciliation process is still quite available, and we will use it for good rather than for evil.
That's another way of saying that filibuster reform in the context of the budget, which incidentally, like, that seems to be a pretty big function of government, isn't it? Like, how are we going to spend our money? That's the time that we don't have the filibuster. I mean, give me a break. I don't know. I think her performance on the Senate floor really tells it all. Like, who's watching that going, this is good? I mean,
Mitch McConnell, just real happy.
Nailed it. Really nailed it. I believed it.
I thought it was A+.
I mean, I would hire you for my school play called we're a semblance of government. It's not a real government, it's a semblance of government. I'm sorry.
It's going to be fascinating and really sort of like no consolation, but it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with her career, like where she is for 4 or 5 years from now, because she seems to have completely mucked this up. Even for herself. Like Joe Manchin, he's just going to be richer.
Why doesn't she course correct now? That's the point. If there is no incentive behind the scenes, because
she may have it may be one of those things where I've crossed the Rubicon. I can't go back, and
she
I
could
got to
go back in this
stay. I
instance.
got to stay with the. I got to stay with the. I think she's probably thinking, if I vote for the filibuster reform, and even if voting rights passed, I'm still going to have the challenges I'm going to have. I think that's her problem. I think that's what she's convinced of. So
really, with this Democratic Party, I think they'd be like, oh, finally, she came to her senses. We love you, Kyrsten. We have to defend. I mean, I think you're right. Like, my question is, I know she met with a bunch of business leaders to stop BBB from passing, and that's very clear. But at the same time, are they like, yeah, and no on voting rights, by the way? Like, are there lobbyists behind the scenes?
I bet it's that Manchin's not going to vote for the filibuster change, and so she realizes, I don't want to waste my vote in that situation. That's my guess. She's just blown it. She's just blown it. She's just in the wrong place to do it, because she knows that she could take that vote, and Democrats would maybe come rushing to exalt her if voting rights pass. But I think she knows that it won't pass.
Yeah.
So she's screwed.
And she's also probably representing some people behind the scenes like Mark Warner, who are less public as well. I mean, she might know that it's not just Manchin.
For voting rights, I think at this point.
Well, it's in Warner's interest, but
Yes.
I don't know, because of Virginia.
Exactly.
So, Biden Sinema 2024, eh?
If you can get Cheney off the ticket,